How are you doing, man? What's up?
Can't complain, can't complain. Thank you for
So
having me,
you're
brother.
back in Manila. Of course, anytime. You're always welcome here. You're back in Manila, huh? How long has it been? Like 2 weeks now?
Oof. Yeah, something like that. I got here on 15th, so a little over 2 weeks now.
Nice, nice, nice. So has life already felt different considering you're now with a new team, or is it still much of the same?
Man, I feel like every single time I come back to the Philippines, something changes. Something big changes, whether it's coming back or freaking tearing my knee up or starting the PBA. Or I found out I got traded the night before, like 2 a.m. My flight leaves the
Night
next day.
before your flight, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, everything's good, man. Everything's good. I can't complain at all. I'm in a
Yeah,
good
how'd you
spot.
react to that? I mean, I know that I wrote a bit about it in the article after our interview, but how was it like when you found out? Let's say, take us through it. Where were you? Were you chilling with the family? Were you kind
No,
of watching film?
it was man. I was dang near in bed already because it was late, and I had like got a text from Coach Bonnie, told me to call him, and I was like, I was wondering why, like what could that be about?
Right.
And I'm thinking, you know what? I'll just dang near sleep already. I'll just call him back, and then I'm running through the scenarios of why he could want me to call him. And I'm like, shoot, did something go down? Because it wouldn't make any sense for them to be wondering where I am if they already know when I'm coming in. And then I get a text from my agent, and it just says, "What's up, Zave?" I'm so damn. Did I get traded? I go on Instagram, and there it is. And then I was just like, shoot. So I told my people, and then went to sleep.
You slept soundly that night?
Yeah, man. I mean, I always do, but it was interesting to say the least because I wasn't expecting it. That's for sure.
For sure. But now that you know you're headed to Magnolia, is it a shift in perspective about how you're going to approach your PBA career?
I don't think there's a shift in my approach to how I'm coming at this. Like the goal's the same no matter where you are. Obviously, I play to win, and I think that the chances of me winning just kind of got higher. But like as far as my individual approach, same thing. I'm just going out there trying to compete.
Awesome, awesome. I'm sure. And competing for a championship was clearly what you want to do. It's what you've done since you've been here in the Philippines, say for that one conference with Northport. But you were kind of getting adjusted to what you guys were running at Northport at this point, right? You were starting to get comfortable.
I was starting to get comfortable just like with everything, like being back in the Philippines again, long term. Like I was like, you know, I had my guys over there that I was, meshing with, and yeah, learning the system and whatnot. So I was comfortable with the situation I was coming back to. But now, just like anything, I'm with Magnolia now, and I got to do it all again. But it's fine. Everybody's cool. Coach is cool, so I can't complain. Like I said.
Yeah, what's it like so far, meeting the coaches and meeting, just everybody? Like, which coaches have you kind? I mean, I know Jerome is going to be your teammate and you've known him from the UAAP, but otherwise, you're meeting a lot of new people, right?
Yeah, the one thing I am meeting a lot of new people, and it's a different group for sure. As far as just like where these guys at are, like where they're at in their lives, where they're at in their careers. You know what I mean? It's a different field in Northport. Like almost every one of these guys has like a family of some sort out here. Like they got their wife, they got their kids, and whatnot. So it's a different field, but I think that translates onto the court too, as far as like what guys are wanting to accomplish, and like the attitude is very much like let's try to win now. It's like kind of just put these pieces together as best we can and get after it. So it's been fun.
Awesome, awesome. And you had a tune-up game recently against NLEX. How did that go?
Oh, it went well. It was good to play against some different people than each other, and I think that for me it was a good little first showing of like, okay, this is how we're playing on the court, and me getting used to the system and whatnot, and finding where I fit in within the flow of the game, and then also just getting back in the groove of playing a game. So it was good. It was good for sure.
Fantastic. How did Policarpi play for NLEX? Because he also suited up for them, right?
You can tell he's gonna be solid. He goes out there and he plays hard. He's got that that Filipino style of basketball, just like going out there and like tough minded and trying to go out there and play hard and whatnot. So
Nice, nice. By the way, to the visitors right now, do subscribe to the channel. We are on playback. Let's take some questions from Xavier. And yes, we are going to take questions for Xavier. All right, this is a question relating to the UAAP. What was your recruitment process? I know the story of this already, but I think some people want to know it for the first time too. So, what was your recruitment process in the UAAP? Did you visit any other schools? Now, Xavier just did Zoom calls, right?
yeah, I was coming off my third year in college in the States, and it was COVID. So I found out about the opportunities out here from my from Film Nation, and they told me, yo, like this is what it is, and they set up some Zoom calls with LaSalle, UP, and Ateneo, and then kind of went from there. And then yeah, eventually it was UP for me, and that's kind of how it went down. I didn't really visit anything. I kind of had my commitment and everything worked out before I left the States. So
Got
yeah.
you, got you. Now let's go back to the pro side of things. You've been in the pro level in the Philippines a few months because you did take some time to recover your knee, which was understandable. What are the main differences, would you say, of the pro life and the college life?
I think the approach, like as far as practice and whatnot goes, is different. Pros are expected to be pros, you know, so like we're not out there doing crazy stuff with practice. It's pretty straightforward. Like we're getting to our schemes on offense, we're getting to our schemes on defense. We play a little up and down, some things, but like it's very much let's work on our tactics and then let's get out of there. You know, let's get our lift in and let's get out of there. It's not a
Everyone's got their own life after the practices and whatnot.
yeah. It's not as strenuous, I would say, as the college life, but still similar. I mean, you get your work in and then you go home. You know what I mean?
Right, of course, yeah. Now, one of the aspects of playing Magnolia is you get to go up in practice against some of the best PBA players over the years. Notably guys like Mark Baroka and Calvin Abueva. So, what's it like in the YouTube? Someone is interested to know what's it like to go up against guys like this in practice. Pros who have been around for a while and they each have their own style of play and they each live life their own way because, like you said, after practice, everyone goes do their own thing, right? But being around them, what have you learned and what's that experience like?
For me, it's just trying to kind of pick these guys' brains and learn from what they've been doing. 'Cause like I said, it's a different group. Like Mark is, I don't know, 38. Rafi just turned 47. These guys are getting to the end of their career, so I'm trying to pick their brains and learn from them while I can. And then yeah, I think you hear about these guys like Calvin. Obviously, he's a character, you know, and you see him throughout. And people have their ideas about him, and then you meet him, and he's a great dude. You know what I mean? And he goes out there and he plays hard, and I got nothing but respect for him. Even when I went against him, just the one game, just seeing how he played out there is like very much admirable. Like he's gonna go out there and give it what he has every single time. So yeah, just trying to learn and whatnot.
I mean, when you go up against guys like that, you will learn a few things, especially when you're gonna play in, their domain, the PBA, right, where it's more physical. They let you get away with a few more things, and these are guys who know the rules of the craft when it comes to playing pro ball in the Philippines, which I'm sure you will soon enough as well. I want to say hi to some of our usual spectators. Nicole is here. Enzo is here from Australia. What's up, Enzo? Fran Lewis here, and some of our usuals, like I said. And if anyone wants to ask Xavier a question, you can come up on the stage and do so. If you're shy, you can send it in the comments, whether on playback or YouTube. Subscribe, by the way. Good question here. Let's get to something that Chester wants to know. Chester asked, Xavier, how was the journey after you had a major injury? And what advice can you give when it comes to that journey, the recovery process?
I think my advice on it would just be to take it day by day, control what you can control, and yeah, just try to keep stacking good days. Of like, obviously, it starts out really slow. For me, the journey was strenuous, and like it was something I had to work on like every day, and like yeah, it wasn't necessarily fun, but you learn to just like be happy with the wins along the way, whether they're big or small, and then yeah, just control what you can control, and just know that like you'll be back eventually, and just take your time with it. It can all be enjoyable. There's other blessings in life that come with it. Like, it slowed me down. I was able to go home, be with my family for over a year, so that's a blessing that I don't take for granted. But yeah, finding your happiness through it all.
I want to ask this real quick. Aside from NLEX, do you guys have any other scheduled tune-up games with Magnolia ahead of the PBA opening?
To be honest, I don't know. I'm not I'm not very in on the like scheduled things. I'm sure we probably do have a couple tune-ups as these things go, but that's on a day-to-day basis for me. I'm told where and when to be there, like the night before. So yeah, I'm just I'm technically not a rookie, but I mean I'm just along for the ride on this team.
How long do you guys practice for? Do you practice every day?
Yeah, pretty much every day. I mean, we have our days off. Like usually, right now we got the weekends off. Usually, it depends how you want to do it. Like we usually got a lift, and so we'll have that at a certain time. But like if you want to get in there early and get your work in, you can. So like Paul Lee, Jarek Misi, those guys, they're in there 6 a.m. without fail every day, getting it in. They get their work in before, they get the lift, and then they chill before practice starts. Right now, I usually get there like an hour before the lift to get it in before, and then I'll get my work in with one of our coaches, and then practice. Practice is only a couple hours.
So it's not as long as UP.
UP was long for sure. Long. Yeah, a little too long for my liking, but we got
5 hours a day, 4 hours a day.
Something like that.
Yeah, I've heard about the stories of those long practices. Okay, I want to get to some questions here. If you have streamed in, okay. Ooh, do you know if you're going to start or come off the bench? Have you been starting in tune-ups and practices?
You know, I'm still new. I'm learning the system. So right now, like against NLEX, I came off the bench. I'm assuming I'll come off the bench, which is no problem to me. I've gotten used to that role of like coming in later, which is fine. You know, I think it's just hopefully I'll be able to finish games because that's the fun stuff. But either way, like we got Russell on our team, we got Calvin, which they're two capable dudes at my position. So I'm rooting for them. I just want to win. So whatever they say to come in and play, I'll come in and play. But yeah, I feel like if my gut tells me, I'll probably start off the bench for now, especially as a newcomer that's learning the system. And I mean, I played 12 games in the league, so can't come into it expecting too much.
Are you vibing with Coach Cheetah's game plan? How is it different from what Coach Gold and Coach Bonnie used to run with you?
It's interesting. One of the things that we do is it's like the 3 and the 4 are in the corners most of the time, which the 3 it's usually in the corner, but the 2 is also usually in the corner. The 4 is usually playing in the slot, which is interesting for me just because throughout my career I haven't played too much out of the corner. So it's been fun for me to learn that role, especially as like my goal is always to make it to playing the 3. So I've always wanted to be like, you know, having my opportunities to attack from the wings instead of the slots. So that's been fun. And then obviously Magnolia being a defensive-minded team, go out there and get scrappy and like slow the other team down and play at our own pace. So that's been fun too. Or just like that's something that I find is one of my strengths, you know, is being able to play defense. And so like being on a team that really wants to do that is cool for me. So I don't mind anything that Magnolia and Coach Cheeto's trying to do. It's
So you guys didn't play any defense in Northport?
No, we did. I just think there's
You
more of
tried
an
to?
emphasis. You know what I mean? Like there's a concerted like effort of like, oh, we really need to focus on this. You know what I mean? And like, let's talk. Let's have our rotations down and stuff like that. I think every team focuses on it, but like with how much attention to detail are you using? You know what I mean?
I see. I get what you mean. How long are you signed for with Magnolia? Did you sign 2 years with Northport last season before entering the PBA?
Yeah. I signed 2 years, so my contract will be up next October.
So you have 1 year with Magnolia. Have they talked about an extension or not yet?
No, you know, like I said, I just got here. I'm sure that will all take care of itself, but down the line, because I don't expire until October 2025. So
Right.
there's a good amount of time.
But
Still
this year or the year after?
next year, not this October.
Next year.
Yeah.
All
So
right. Okay. So yeah, you're right. You do have some time. I mean, that's like a year and a half still.
exactly.
So that is a lot of time. Yeah. Well, you also have a great agent. So when the time comes to renegotiate and discuss it, I have a feeling your agent's going to take care of you. Let's get to a question here from Manila Glory. Any fun Henry Galanato stories? You know, the chest bump that we saw that went viral, but you probably have a few other Henry stories out there that, no one really knows about yet.
Oh man. Trying to see if I come up with anything off my head. You know, Henry's an interesting. He's a funny dude, but one of the things that happened when we were still in college in the States was, before I like knew him personally, was there was like a rumor going around our like conference that he was benching 135, which is a plate on each side. They said he benched it 100 times straight.
God damn.
So one thing I like, when we got on the same team out here, I asked him like, "Yo, is that true?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Dude, what in the world?" He said he said he did like 65, 70 straight before he took his first break. And I'm just like dumbfounded because at 135 I'm benching that max 15 times. Maybe that might be an overstatement for how much I'm benching that, and he's benching that 100 times. I'm just like, dude, this guy's crazy. But yeah, I'd have to think on any other stories, but he's definitely a funny dude.
Oh my God, that's insane, man. He could probably bench you 100 times, right? Just carry
He
you up.
probably
How much?
he's an ox, man. He lives in the weight room. Now you
Seems
saw
like
that
it
when he
too.
bumped me, man. That's all weight room right there.
Yeah, yeah. You told him after you asked him, right, bro? Did you know how hard you bumped me just now? And he was like, "No, I didn't even realize."
That was a genuine, like, I didn't flop or anything like that. Like, he hit me. I was just trying to give him a little chest bump, and yeah, he hit me with everything.
And that's crazy. Well, hopefully we get to see more battles between you and Henry coming up in the PBA, Magnolia and TNT on opposing sides of ownership as well. If you guys catch my drift right now. Okay. Hey, this is a good question from Pancho. Do you agree with college players getting paid? If so, do you think it should be regulated somehow?
Yeah, I do think that college players should be compensated. I mean, you see it in the States. It's a big thing now, and it wasn't before. But like in the States, you had guys like, I don't know, dating back to like Chris Webber and the Fab Five, like just so many athletes getting, I guess, taken advantage of, like their name and likeness, and just being advertised and not seeing any profits off of that. So when the school is seeing all those profits, so I think it's good that guys are getting paid. It's, out here, I would say it would be the same thing. The UAAP is um, a very very big league out here, if not the biggest. So I would say I don't mind it. Obviously, a free education is not to be overlooked. Like that is something that you have to take into account when you think about it. That is worth some. That's worth some money. You know what I mean? Having a free education. So there's that, but also I think it adds competition. But I think there are drawbacks to it as well. Like within a team, especially at a young age, if you know what this guy's getting paid and you're not getting paid as much, then there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it. But I think, yeah, it would. There should be some regulation. I don't know how they would do it out here,
Yeah,
but
that was my next question. How would you regulate? Because you guys get a few bonuses that, is just like here or there, right?
we, yeah,
You
there are
almost
some
slipped there a
some
bit, bro.
bonuses throughout the college level. I think for every team, you know what I mean. But I don't know. Like in the States, how is it regulated? You have like it's usually off of NIL deals and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess there is that out here. Guys are signed to Nike, they're signed to Adidas and whatnot, and they're free to explore that realm of being a celebrity, I guess.
Keep it real with you. I don't mind you guys getting paid without a salary cap, even. I mean, your careers start younger than most other careers.
It's true, and I'm inclined to say the same thing. It's just like, athletes put a lot into the game, and so, and especially out here, where guys are like, they come from very, very humble backgrounds, so usually any dime that they get is going back to their family to help, you know, better their situation at home. So who am I to be like, nah, he shouldn't be getting paid? You know what I mean? Because
Right.
at the same time, you have a shelf life in athletics. Like you only play for so long, so might as well get paid while you're at it.
No, for real. Yeah, monetize as much as you can. I want to get to some more questions. Oh, yeah, let's go to the Jerome part of it. Now, how does it feel knowing you're going to be teammates with Jerome? And you guys have interacted in practice yet?
Oh well, yeah, he's there every day. Board. He, he's at the boring part of the process. Where it's like you're close, but you're not there yet. So, but I'm excited. Actually, I was on YouTube last night, and I don't know, maybe I said his name at some point and so it pulls
That
up.
happens, yeah.
Yeah, it pulls up his highlight reel from my last season at UP, and I watched a good amount of it, and I was like, yeah, like I'm excited to play with him because like he's a dynamic guard. He shoots the lights out, he gets downhill, he finds teammates. So anytime you get to play with somebody like that, you gotta
Oh
be.
no, that's for sure. I can imagine you and Jerome just running like screen and rolls and handoffs and
For sure,
whatnot
for sure.
over the next few years. And more often than not, I feel like you guys are gonna score.
Yeah, it'll be fun, especially when he gets back. And obviously, like I said, with our team, some guys getting older, so him stepping in kind of in a few years, like the writing is kind of on the wall. Like there's going to be some guys retiring and whatnot, or taking a lesser role. So the younger guys are going to have our opportunity to step in and kind of do our thing.
For sure, for sure. All right, let's get to a question here from Enzo. Enzo wants to ask Zave, one of the best moments of your UAAP last season was when you were subbed in to take free throws. Both sides of the stadium are cheering you on. What did it feel like to have such a cool moment of love and respect despite a looming championship loss?
It was cool for me. I didn't expect, like, I think they celebrating early. That's why they got the technical, something like that. Something
Boy,
happened
maybe, yeah, something like that, yeah.
where Ateneo got the technical, and like I'm obviously sitting on the bench and I'm suited up, and I see that we're about to take a free throw. So I'm like, yo, I'm already taking off my like warm up and whatnot. Like the coaching staff wasn't really like, oh, Zay, get in there. I just kind of ran out and was like, yo, is it cool? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. So yeah, it was cool to be like on the floor one last time, especially for that crowd. Obviously, yeah, it sucked because I think we should have won the championship, but it was definitely one of the highlights of my career. Just I think the UAP as a whole is one of the highlights of my career, playing in front of those crowds and with that energy and whatnot. And so yeah, it was cool to see, like you said, both sides kind of giving me some respect and giving me my flowers. So yeah, I was pretty happy about that being my ending.
As the moment was going on, though, where you like, just don't screw up these free throws. Just focus on making the free throws. Because the last thing you want is to go up there and then miss some freebies, right?
Yeah, I'll leave that one to God. I'm glad he had my back on that because I actually thought I was gonna shoot two, and then to my surprise, I only shot one. So I was glad it went in. Yeah, I was pretty nervous about that too.
All right, good question here from Fran Lou. And Fran Lou, if you want to come on the stage, you're welcome to do so. What is your reaction on the proposed change on the UAAP rule where players who will transfer from one UAAP school to another would lose 2 playing years of eligibility?
Oof, I don't like it. I didn't like that when I saw it. 2 years is a bit. That's a bit much. You get 5 years to play. So granted, you transfer after you play one. Now you lose two. You only have two left. It's kind of just like I feel like one is enough. You know, as a person, you have to be your own advocate a lot of times, and like so, if you're not happy and you got to get out of that situation, then you got to get out of that situation. So to be penalized, that's a big penalty of just moving schools. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
it's
Like,
too much.
because if you're a regular student too, you don't lose 2 years, right? I mean, you transfer right away. 1 year, some people would argue is even a little too crazy. Okay, let's change the vibe here a little bit though. Let's go to this question. Enzo asks everyone: Are you K Dot or Drizzy?
Oh, Kendrick, all the way.
It's
I'm
a
from California.
it's a
I'm from
California
California.
thing, huh?
Yeah. And I've been a Kendrick fan for forever. And that's all I really have to say. I think Kendrick said the rest. I think we're all good on that.
I gotta say though, and they might ban me from ever entering California again for saying this. In and Out is all right.
In and out.
It's all right, man. It's like everyone here who comes from California, even Filipinos or anyone who's from the Philippines, they go to California and they come back and they're like, "Yeah, In and Out is the best. In and Out is amazing. It's everything." And then you go there and you're like, "This is like sweet ecstasy back home in Manila."
Yeah, it's good fast food. I'd say like it's not bad. Like it's better than McDonald's. I'll say that it's
That's for sure.
better than
Yeah.
a different fast food burger that you can get. You know what I mean? Um,
It's no fancy burger though, right? Because some people might
no,
actually assume that. No, it's
it's
like
really not. It's
yeah,
really, you can get a better burger at a real restaurant, right?
like umami or something like that.
Yeah. But like if you just hungry for a bite, it's late at night or whatever. It's a good place to go.
Well, while we're talking about food, what's your favorite Filipino dish?
Favorite Filipino dish? I like sisig and I like chicken adobo. Probably those two. I'm
Can't go
not.
wrong with either.
I like sinigang, but I'm not. That couldn't be my favorite. It doesn't. I know that's a lot of people's favorite, but I don't
Too
know.
sour for you?
I just can't get into it so much. Like I'll have a bowl, but I'll probably stop after that.
Hey, what did you think about that new 4 point shot, by the way?
Oh, that one is. I think a lot of guys are saying like, oh, hopefully it'll add an element of excitement for the fans and whatnot. It's hard for me to get behind it. I like to hoop, you know what I mean? And I think I don't know. It's an interesting implementation. I think it changes a lot of situations as well. That I feel like something like that has to be very well thought out. Like, how does that? 8 points is now a 2 possession game. 10 points is a 3 possession game. 12 points is a 3 possession game. So it changes a lot of things, like how you operate down the stretch. You know what I mean? Things really change. So we'll see how it goes. If I had to venture to guess, there's not going to be a ton of people shooting them. You know what I mean? It's not that much further though, but it's just like if you're wide open, I don't see you taking a 4-pointer instead of a 3-pointer. Especially like there's not a ton of very high percentage 3-point shooters. So like if I did on my team, I would say the only dude that's gonna take any is Paul Lee. You know what I mean? There's not gonna
You
be.
guys got a lot of shooters in your team, though.
Yeah, we do. But like I said, is the 4-point? I don't know, man. Is it a good shot? Is it not a good shot? I don't.
So you know what's crazy is, let's say you take 5 mid-range shots. Okay, analytics here. Say you take 5 mid-range shots, you make 4 out of 5, 80%. That's a great clip, right?
Yeah.
You get 8 points out of that. Take 5 4-point shots. All you gotta do is make 2 out of 5 to match what you would make if you made 4 out of 5 mid-range shots. Like if I was the coach of a PBA team, and this might sound ridiculous, that's why I'm not a coach. I would just be like, if everyone's talking about analytics and how you should get to the paint or shoot threes, just take a bunch of 4-point shots. I mean, you might not make a lot, but the times you actually make them, it's such a higher reward. It's double the reward of any shot inside the 3-point line. That just kind of makes sense. And now you can really space the floor out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure. I will probably take 0 unless it's like end of.
No way. You're not gonna take one a game? One 4-point shot a game?
Definitely not. I will be averaging less than 1 a game without a doubt.
Bro, at least one. Come on. Top of the key, wide open. Like you're trailing the fast break and you're wide open there. I mean, you have to, right? At least once a game, you're gonna get that.
I'm more likely to step into the 3 than I am to step into the 4.
Okay, but if you say it's not that far off from each other, I mean, doesn't it make sense mathematically to take that step back and just take more 4 point shots?
I think it also depends what you're shooting. Like what percentage are you shooting from three?
Hmm.
Because if you're a 40% shooter, sure, that obviously the distance doesn't really matter. Like I said, like I was telling Paul this the other day, like for a sharpshooter, the distance usually doesn't matter whether you're at 3 point line, you're a couple steps back. Like you're not usually hugging that 3 point line anyway. So cool. Like I told him, like him taking them, cool. That's fine with me. But like if you're shooting, I don't know what I shot from three, but I didn't shoot good enough to be pulling 4 pointers. That's for sure.
Yeah, you shot nearly 40% in your last year at UP, and then last season you were kind of at like the 20-ish percentage in the PBA. But you also said that had something to do with getting used to the molten basketball, right?
It was that I was shooting it well to start last conference, and then it kind of just I started missing. But I can't really blame it on anything. I was getting open looks. I was just missing. Is what she is.
All right, I think I missed a question from Fran here earlier. Fran wanted to know, or yeah, wants to know rather, Xavier, what was your initial reaction when you saw JD's championship winning shot go in? What was the first thing on your mind?
When I saw it go in, let's see. The sequence of events was he brought the ball down. I went to go set a
He had to play with Malik beforehand, the pick and roll.
yeah,
Malik
yeah,
got
yeah.
dunk. You guys
Yeah,
got to stop.
I think Mama hit a shot before that too.
He had the double pump 3 pointer with like a few seconds left in the shot clock, right?
Rebound. It was like a Reggie Miller thing. He like got the
Yeah,
rebound, ran out to.
it was insane, bro.
Yeah,
That was
it was
insane.
crazy. But yeah, he like came down. I was gonna go set a screen. He waved me off and he told me to come. He gets the screen. I honestly didn't know what the score was. Like I'm thinking, okay, crash. Obviously, when the shot goes up, it goes in, and I know that we're. Man, what was going through my head? We had won at that point. You know, like the shot goes in, we won because they didn't have enough time. But I didn't know that. Like I was like, okay, get back on defense. Like let's get a stop. And all of a sudden it's done, and he hits the biggest shot probably in maybe in the history of the UAAP. I don't even know,
Nah,
but
for real, yeah, for real.
definitely a UP. So I was just like kind of shocked. I was just kind of shocked.
That's crazy.
I was shocked at
That
that
was
whole
crazy.
sequence from him. I was like, holy, like he really, he really willed that last however many possessions.
That double pump was nuts. The one you were
Yeah, it
talking
was
about
crazy.
before the Malik one, yeah, because it was like with 2 seconds left on the shot clock, and he doesn't hit that. Ateneo probably wins the championship.
We should have lost. I always say this. We should have lost. We shouldn't have even been in the
You told
finals.
me that too after the game. I remember. Yeah.
I was talking to James about this. We shouldn't even like LaSalle should have beat us. It should have been done.
Yeah.
The amount of things that happened right. We should have lost game one of the finals. Like there was game one and game three. Those were like miracle games, and so was game two of the semifinals. So if you ask me, that's all God.
No, this is a good point by Mitch because you can make the case in '84 Ateneo should have beaten you guys, but you can conversely say in '85 you were better than Ateneo and you would have probably won that. Might have won that if you stayed healthy. So just goes to show that who should win or who people think is going to win. Sometimes it doesn't come down to that, huh?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we lost to a. I mean, if you ask me, that's a worse Ateneo team. Nothing against that team, but they weren't as good. They weren't as strong. You know what I mean? With SJ, Magnolia, like these guys are leaving. They're guys that have been there for however long, and then we lose to the next team. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's basketball. I mean, it can go either way. Like we had to win game. I always say this, and it's the same thing for UP after I left. You win game one, you need to win game two. Like you need to go out like you're down. Because if you relax, like I feel like we relaxed. The last three game twos of the finals, UP has
Mhm.
relaxed. And that's been the downfall, of getting comfortable. Like, we won game one, we're about to win the championship, and then you kind of take your foot off the gas just a little bit, and so you bite the
What
bullet.
was the difference after becoming champions and before becoming champions? we hear about this in any level of basketball, NBA, UAAP, PBA, where the individuals in a team before they win a championship, it's kind of easier to get them all on the same page because you're all striving at that point for something that you're doing collectively, right? You're trying to win a championship.
Yeah.
Then you win a championship and you guys become, bigger celebrities than you already are. Everybody wants a piece of you. Everybody wants some of your time. Everybody is saying, "Hey, maybe you should get your stats higher. You deserve more." Or, "Hey, maybe you should be getting this as an allowance instead." Not to name any specific names, and not to say this only happens at UP. It happens everywhere, every team. But as a player who lived through it, is there a tangible difference in the mentality of the individuals in a team before and after they win a championship? Pat Riley once called it the disease of me, meaning thinking about me first, right, instead of the team. Did you feel that? Do you think that happens to teams?
Oh, for sure. It for sure happens. I wouldn't be so quick to say it happened for us at UP. It's really hard to win a championship. And I think at the end of the day, Kwame happened for us. Like, we were poised to win. Like, everybody wants a piece of us. It didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, we pretty much ran through the league. And we met an opponent that beat us. You know what I mean? But
Good, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's – I think at the end of the day, everyone wants to win. And they're willing to set aside personal goals to win. I think maybe there's some selfish plays that happen here and then, but not with ill intent of like, oh, I need to score. You know what I mean? I think that does find its way in basketball, but that's just the nature of the game. Like if somebody hasn't touched it for a while, next time they get it, it's probably going up. That's just the way basketball is. But yeah, it's definitely a real thing. I've definitely been on teams where it's like, I need to get mine. Like, that's the most important thing. And so that will derail a team quicker than anything else. But as far as UP goes, I wouldn't say that was the detrimental factor.
I get you. By the way, to those spectating right now, watching this episode, you can come on the stage and ask Dave a question or send it in the comment box. We have a few more minutes here with him. Let's get to a question here from YouTube, going back to the PBA now that you are with Magnolia. Which teammates of yours have impressed you the most so far?
Impressed me?
Yeah.
Like I said, I think Paul and Jared, their work ethic is like really good. Like it's very inspiring for sure. It's like they're coming in every day and they're getting there working, and it's like when you see that, it's hard for you to be like, I'm not gonna go work. So probably those two in their work ethic. I think Mark Baroka, like him doing what he's doing at his age. Same thing with Rafi. Everybody brings something different to the table, but off a rip, it was probably those two dudes just and how hard they work for me was the most impressive. But we'll see. Like I said, I've only been on this team for 2 weeks, so we'll see how it progresses.
Time will tell for sure. Good question here from Paolo. What are your thoughts on organizations like Tumakbo and Phil-Am Nation building a pipeline for players to go to college in the Philippines?
I've never actually heard of the first one, but I think it's great. It only adds to the level of basketball out here, you know what I mean? So, like, guys being able to find out about the opportunity to come out here and play, it elevates the level of basketball. I think obviously there's a sense of pride out here about homegrown players and whatnot. But like the way the game is moving, like you should want people to come in that can offer something. You should want them to come in and raise the level of play. Because at the base level, what it is entertainment. So you want to see the best basketball possible. So obviously, I'm coming from Phil-Am Nation. You know what I mean? Like they helped me get it, so I'm gonna be on their side. But like from a different standpoint, like a lot of people don't get to live out the dream of playing professional basketball. So an organization that's helping kids do that, I'll never knock it. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter who it is. And then like
absolutely,
all you want in your basketball here is for it to be competitive. Like people are knocking like the PBA because guys are leaving and whatnot. And so you got guys like coming in like Stephen Holt. Like without Phil-Am Nation, he wouldn't be in the PBA. And he went crazy that this past season. So I think that's only good for basketball. And then like the earlier you get them, then they compete for the national team now, and you got a better national team. And like, what's the goal for Gilas to make it to the Olympics one day? You know, so like as things get better, like even yeah. So that's my thought on it. Like it can't be bad, you know.
Oh, for sure, for sure. By the way, someone just commented that Zave, apparently you have an extra twinkle after your trade to Magnolia. It's a twinkle of knowing you're going to compete for a championship. So we got two questions here. The first thing I want to ask from Pino is, what's it like, being with Glenn Robinson III, the former NBA slam dunk champion and son of the former NBA player and also an NBA player himself, now that he's with Magnolia, going to play in the PBA with you guys, seeing him practice every day. What's it like?
I think for me, this is my first time playing with an import, so and a guy as high level as him, like with the resume that he has of like being in the league for 7 years, like it's really hard to do. Not a lot of people do it, but him coming in and being the type of person he is has been, I think, a good experience for all of us. Like he's very humble. He doesn't come out here like riding a high horse. You know what I mean? Like he's just trying to compete. He plays the right way, but also like he gets to it. Obviously, like at the end of the day, when an import comes in, it's his show. You know what I mean? So, and none of us have a problem with that because of what he does. So, for me, it's been pretty cool to see him work, and like I'm all ears whenever he wants to give me some pointers and whatnot. So it's nice to learn from somebody that's done it. You know what I mean? And is coming out here to help us win. I think it also, like us at Magnolia, we have a team constructed that he fits in like pretty seamlessly as far as like we have a good amount of bigger dudes, so he doesn't have to step in and play the four. Like he plays 1 through 3, which is like a big athletic guard is great for us at 1 through 3. You know what I mean? So he still jumps out of the gym and all that stuff. So it's fun to watch for sure.
For sure, for sure. Okay, let's get to some national team stuff. Pancho wanted to ask you, Zave, do you see yourself wearing the national team jersey someday? I mean, anything happening there, Zave? Like,
yeah, man. I hope soon. I hope soon. You know, God willing, I stay healthy and hopefully I can get a look. But I mean, if I ever got that call, obviously I'm gonna jump at it, like without any hesitation. I don't know who wouldn't, but I mean, only time will tell. Still just focused on doing my thing, and then hopefully if that call comes in, then I'll be ready for it.
Absolutely. Yes, and there's someone who asked here, who else recruited Xavier aside from UP? I believe Ateneo had interest. I believe LaSalle had interest too.
Yeah.
Without naming names, do you want to tell everyone the story finally of why you didn't end up in the LSU? Like, there was something that happened in the Zoom call, right?
It's just it was just I think miscommunication on that first Zoom call, which had left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth.
Right.
But like it's no, like I don't hold it against them, like, and I'm sure they're fine now. They just won a championship, you know what I mean? Like it would have been fun to go there. But yeah, it was just those meetings didn't go as well as like say the Ateneo did or the UP meetings did. So that's kind of what it was. But yeah, I mean, no hard feelings.
Someone here asked, Zave almost played for DLSU. I'll take it a step further. DLSU, before everything started, was actually maybe on top of Xavier's list, right? You liked how that green jersey looked?
Yeah, I did. My favorite color is green, so I like the script font and all that. So it was cool. I think they would have won if I was there too, just because it would have been, I mean, Shawnee, Bouty, Mike. It would have been a pretty tough team. You know what I mean?
Hey, did
and
you
even
tell
that second year with Kim Bao coming in?
Oh, yeah.
It would have been tough.
Oh, you and Kim Bao together would have been crazy. That would have gone great. Did you tell Mike anything after he had the dunk on you in season 85? I mean, by the way, props to you for going up and trying to block that. That was a crazy block attempt.
Yeah, if you go up and try to block shots, you're gonna get dunked on. So it just is what it was. That one I was like slightly late, and so he punched it on me. And all props to him. You know what I mean? He's done it to a few people now. So
oh yeah,
I'm definitely not the
only one. You're not the only one. He has a collection at this point.
For sure. I mean, what is he, 6'8", and he's got that wingspan, and he jumps and he just freaking goes balls to the wall every play.
So he's called Motor Mike for a reason, but as someone who went up against him, what's it like, when you go up against someone with a motor like that?
It's tiring for sure. I think like you go up with somebody with that energy, you better be looking to box him out every single play, or you're gonna get embarrassed because everyone's gonna be looking at you every single time he gets an offensive rebound. Everyone's gonna be, you know what I mean? But I think if he pairs that up with like if he really gets into his skill development and he like becomes a legit like threat with the ball in his hands, and he's gonna be scary. You know what I mean?
For sure. Like Zave is scary right now on the court. So Zave, thank you for all your time. The questions have been great. The answers have been spectacular. I'm very much looking forward to seeing you play in Magnolia, especially once Jerome is back as well. A year from now, are you a PBA champion?
Shoot, man, I hope so. If not for me, for the vets on our team, I hope so. I think we got a shot at it, man. Obviously there's teams out there that are gonna be hard to beat, but they're beatable. As we saw, they're definitely beatable.
That's true. What Meralco did opened the doors for all of you to really.
For sure. And I think like
greener pastures.
The pieces on our team, we have them all. So I'm just putting them together and making it happen. And I think we got the best import in the league too. So hopefully we can do it not in a year, but in 3 months.
Have you spoken with Alfrancis Chua yet since being traded to Magnolia?
I haven't yet. I've met Boss Al before though, but I'm sure I'll meet him soon again and be able to, talk to him and whatnot.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for your time, Zavier. Appreciate you for coming on even with a short notice, and I appreciate everyone for tuning in and asking questions. And more power to you, man. I hope you get the championship. I hope everything goes well, and Godspeed, bro.
Appreciate you, man. Always grateful to come on and chop it up with you. And everyone that tuned in, thank you.
For sure. Hey, next time you're here, we got to do a film viewing session, just break down basketball plays.
Let's go with me.
Let's make it happen. All right. Thank you, Xavier. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Peace.